Hi everyone, welcome to today's game of Chillen in Chult, our Grave of Consternation, or a variety of other names that I can use. I am your DM, friend, and a notary that is definitely judging you for what you have to get notarized, Fish. Joining me today are my receptionist, bartender, and secretary that has to give very personal and intimate details about my work and the things that I've seen. Sam, Jason, and Mark. Not joining here today is my loving spouse, who unfortunately is on vacation right now.
Ooh.
I hope you're having fun, Muty.
Also, you get to guess which one of us is each of the different receptionists.
Jason's
Oh,
the
yeah.
bartender, 100%.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm the receptionist that uncomfortably leans too far over the fax machine.
Did you need anything else faxed while I'm here?
Stop.
Horrible.
Never mind. That bit's not funny anymore. We join our players today after they have just witnessed the jug memory showing Solidago's uncomfortable involvement with the oppression and war crimes that took place in Chult at the behalf of the Lord's Alliance. You guys are eating breakfast. It's sufficient bread and soup. You have a murder mystery to solve, and the entire depth of Mesro is open for your investigation. Kawashak has been called away by some of the Ashau, specifically Tahelon, requesting him by name to address an issue that they're experiencing with some of the trees and unhuntable livestock taking place. So it's just the four of you, and also Eku and Dioka.
Chavoy.
Jet's probably eating and going over his book, preparing his spells for the day. Jesus.
Is Arthas with us?
He is not. He has not shown up since the day before.
Oh, right, because, people.
Yes. So I think we should probably start where the body is at, since they just left it there. See what we can find around the scene. It was a crossbow bolt. You've already told us. That doesn't really tell us much outside of anybody could have done it.
Yes. Quite. Yeah. That's the thing.
And it was a member of Ypteka's Fist, and they were looking for the princess at the time.
They were looking, the way that Shago described it, by the sounds of it, they were very against the princesses, the royals.
Oh, so it may have been looking for her in a negative context.
Yeah.
I believe the way Chicago said it was, well, at least for that was the person that Chult said something in a poor manner of her, and he just killed her.
Yes, he said that he in love with her. In love with the princess, not the murdered.
I think with the information that is...
Yes. And also, Soul will lean in a little bit. We all know it was Shago. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that.
Well, I think we should, before we try to do anything outside, just investigate. I think we should probably get a sense of what the scene looks like and how we may or may not be able to come to a result that's favorable to everyone.
Yeah, I don't
I
see a
agree.
reason in doing anything else first.
You
All
two can
right,
lead the way.
So you guys are going to head to the residential quarter and get a feel for the murder scene?
Yes.
Nice. Yoka is going to stay behind and promise. He's being asked to help transport some goods and translate some Goblish. They've apparently met up with a goblin tribe just a few hours before and are hoping to use Yoka in facilitating negotiations. Eku will walk you guys towards the residential quarter, navigating through the dark, murky swamps of the merchant quarter. Promise has lent you all a canoe for the day, but tomorrow you'll have to find another means of easily transporting the swamp from one of the other factions at hand. Some light traveling through the residential quarter. You guys all walk comfortably safe to the white, looming, overbearing walls until you come across a Pueblo-style two-story house, the same as every other house in this residential quarter. There's water dripping from the roofs and the windowsills. The roofs haven't been carefully constructed so that water is easily drainable, forming in puddles and grooves in the road. Beautiful engineering left by the Mesrons that has managed to work for hundreds of years. The front door is closed.
Any windows or anything like that?
There's about 2 windows just above head height for you, Duvana, so you'd have to peek through on your tippy toes.
Do we want to check the door first? Because I don't
I can look
think...
through the window if you'd like.
Well, I meant check the door to make sure that we weren't going to walk into it.
He's been busy thinking about what he saw earlier today.
What exactly were you looking for, Soul? Just a brief glance around the room, or anything?
Like any kind of like movement that would like
Okay.
suggested someone had been in there.
Glancing through, the house is fairly empty. There's some state of disarray. You can see a chair with one of the legs cracked that has just a bunch of clothing kind of piled on top of it. There's a table with a bunch of Thayan crap on it that appears to have been looted from bodies or something. It looks like it used to be a storage house of some kind. Not in a serious manner, but you know, like we just put stuff here. This is our shed. Devaneth, checking through the door, you don't notice any telltale signs of mechanical traps, and you don't feel any familiar buzzing of arcane runes or chalk.
Cool. I will go ahead and open the door then.
You swing the door open, welcoming in a sight of a house layout that closely mirrors Artis's, where it's a sort of open concept with a living room, a kind of dining room set off to the side, and then a kitchen in the back with stairs feeding up to the upstairs. You see much of what Solidago saw. There's trinkets, clothes, stuff looted from other houses piled on every available flat surface. There appears to be a organizing system that was abandoned at some point. Um, and with your keen eyes, uh, and also your smell and everything else like that, um, you're able to get the very distinct smell of iron.
Okay, but no bodies on the first floor?
No bodies that you can see.
Okay, then I will poke my head in and get a full view of that open concept living space. See if I see a
Okay.
body.
Make me a perception check. All right. Getting a glance around, the flooring appears to be a porous stone of some kind, and it's been improperly cleaned over the last however, so there's a lot of smells wafting in, but there is a very distinct smell of decay coming from the first floor. Checking the dining room, doesn't appear to be anything in particular. There's no obvious weapons, nothing like that. The kitchen appears to be the cleanest room, but the living room is definitely where the body is, because hidden behind Thayan robes and a tattered Lord's Alliance tabard is a body of a middle-aged woman in the beginning stages of decay, with some signs of frost burns and signs of cold decay, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Duvaneth will say, well, the body's definitely downstairs in the living room area, and they didn't use rugs to break up their open concept space.
Horrible.
Okay.
Real crime here.
Duvaneth will walk in.
Alright, you walk in. It smells interesting. There's a lot of clothes that weren't properly dried, so there's this sort of underlying scent of mold. The iron just gets richer. You can see that there are, in the porous stone, this is something everybody can see. There were streaks of blood that has been soaked up by the stone flooring that leads from the dining room table to the chair. Likewise, the body, saying my words very carefully, the bolt entered from the bottom of the chin and went through, not from an open mouth, but like this, up into her cleft palate.
Okay. Does it... Looking at the blood stains, could one decide if she had been... Excuse me. Dragged to her current position, or is it more like she wasn't quite dead when she was hit by the crossbow?
Make whatever check you think would work for that. I'm willing to accept nature if you can really sell it to me, medicine, or perception.
None of those are quite good. Could he use survival, thinking about how if you're going to hunt something and track it, blood is something that you might use as a indicator of where it might have gone or what state it is currently in?
Looking at survival from a tracking perspective, I will say yes.
17.
All right. Looking at the blood splatter and how it's been dragged across, there's misshapen blots that closely resemble hands, and there's heavy puddling. So it looks like she was indeed alive and was dragging herself to the chair. So, clutching at her neck, blood gets on her hands, on her hands and feet, dragging herself.
I am going to approach the body.
All right. You approach the body. It's, again, in the beginning stages of decay, though it looks like it began decay through frost. The lips are blackened, the eyes are glazed over and still staring forward. She's middle-aged, aged very well, kept good care of herself. There's some wrinkling around her neck, implying that she didn't use lotion on her neck or her chest. She has wiry brown hair that was pulled back in a bun. She was human, though possibly has some elven or some other dwarven, maybe, just given the features on her face. She's huddled underneath a pile of robes and clothes and things gathered around her body. And her hand is sticking out of the clothes and is like gnarled around empty air.
Okay.
She had acrylics.
Cool. Well, haha. Well, fingernails continue to grow after death, so we may be able to use that to date that. No, I'm just kidding. So all that being said, Duvanith will sort of out of like the pocket of her pants or whatever, take the cloth that she uses to keep her pack off of her neck and wrap it around her face. And with all that you just said, the thing I am most interested in is the size of the bolt that is going through her head. I'm trying to determine if it's from a hand crossbow, light crossbow, or heavy crossbow.
Okay. You are a fighter, so I'm assuming that you're proficient with one or all of those?
All of them.
Just taking a glance at it, hand crossbow, Chult can make. The wood is dark and it's treated against water swelling.
Okay, so that means that looks like it was a hand crossbow, which basically means that she was definitely killed on this floor. We should check the door to see if there was, or the windows, and see if there's forced entry.
Would it be so? To double check, the injury itself is sort of like going like through the neck and like up, like to her mouth and like up. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't think it could have been through a window. That angle's a little bit an odd one.
I'm suggesting the person broke in and then just grabbed her and dumped her.
Potentially.
Because it seems very intentional, and like the probability of hitting somebody when their head is back like this, it just seems very like it had to have been very overt.
Yes, definitely. Soul's actually gonna go over to the table where the chair was at. Does it look anything of note on that table?
The chair that the body is sitting in is not a chair that would have been at the table. The chair that she's sitting in is definitely more of a lounge chair, like intentionally in the living room. On the taking a closer look at it with your experience in Courtney on Zara and stuff like this. This just appears to be a table where they looted zombified bodies and were organizing it.
Mhm.
It looks like it was interrupted mid-process, though.
Okay. Soul's Soul's gonna go ahead and look through that carefully. Watch out for any undead fingers that may still be hanging around in the pockets.
Okay, are you looking for anything in particular?
Something that looks like it might have been useful to her in her state, like maybe a health potion or like some like a weapon.
Okay.
Like a trinket maybe that she was going for. Ooh, a sending stone.
I'm actually not entirely sure. Okay, you can make a roll for it, or you can take your time with it.
That's a good way of doing it. So we'll take his time for it. Take his time with it. But if anyone asks for help in anything particular, he will stop that and go do something else and go help them.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna say it'll take, with an intelligence and wisdom of 10, I'm going to say 45 minutes to care for. It's a big pile.
Okay.
And you can go back to it if you want to help with somebody else, but it'll kind of like
Yeah.
decrease. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I can spend time on it and like the meter won't go back down because I step away.
Right.
Okay.
Jet, what do you
visiting-
make of this grasping hand? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was about to prompt Jet.
Okay.
Go ahead, what? However.
What do you make of this grasping hand that she's making? I don't know if it's being propped up by all these clothes she's surrounded in, or if it's rigor mortis, something. It's just very odd that it's untouched by gravity, seemingly.
I can see if there's anything. Actually, I don't think it does that. Okay, no, probably not. She could have been holding something in her hand, and someone took it from her after she passed. Does it look like it's almost clenched, or does it look like she's reaching out for something?
Definitely clenched.
So, yeah, the way it looks, it could be that she's had something in her hand and it was ripped from her.
So from where he's like folding clothes carefully. Perhaps she was holding something and then after she died, someone came and took it.
Seems likely. Information or...
Who?
Duvanov will just say, oh, shit, and we'll go ahead and, like, pick through her pack, and we'll take out the cube, like, doing her best to make sure she's not near a window and be low, and we'll just see if it fits in the grip.
It does not, but
Oh,
points
God.
for trying.
Okay, she's quickly
because
going to bury it back in her bag.
Because you did that, I'm going to give you advantage on any other check made in the investigation of the body.
Nice.
Ooh.
The body specifically? Okay. So she's like cocooned in like clothes, like she was trying to keep herself warm, right?
Yes.
Is that my understanding? Dubanov will look at Jet and say, do you think there's any benefit of seeing what's underneath all of this?
Possibly. So it looks like she's cocooning herself. Does it look like the way she cocooned herself, she was protecting a specific area, like how some people, like when they're cold, they usually aim for their heart? Was she aiming for her heart with the wraps, or was she aiming like lower or anything like that?
With your understanding of medicine and stuff, Jet, she was definitely protecting core.
More so, it looks like she was just trying to keep herself warm, which most people keep their core warm.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, she's dead now. What if she has like a satchel or something under her
It's worth it. There's no rhyme for not doing it. We're here to investigate, so.
Cool. Let's.
Do you want me to use my mage hand?
The death blankets. Yes.
Also, Solidago, while you are looking, you're not going to take a penalty from saying things. I already know that you put in your input, but I don't want you to think you're stifled in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. He's also finding like things that like look like they might fit the group, and they're like kind of nice still, and like putting them off to the side.
Oh my god.
Gotta get his level 10 clothing changes somehow.
Everybody wears Thayan robes. We go into the Thayan camp and start killing people. Sorry.
Don't speak common.
Duvanith will take one of her knives and will use it to assist Jet's mage hand in peeling the stuff off of the body the best she can.
All right. As you guys, do you guys speed up? Do you take your time, or is it just the exact kind of energy that you would put into removing blankets and clothes off of a corpse?
I mean, Duvanith is mostly interested in what's underneath, because she's hoping that this person is wearing like a satchel or something. So she's not going to really be taking much time inspecting any of the clothes that they're wrapped up in, unless one stands out and is like odd.
Got it. Okay. So just as you guys settle in and start to peel away the clothes, many of them had been wet and then frozen and then de-thawed. So there's a lot of sogginess. And instead of the clothes like kind of folding onto the floor, they like sleep. Some of them seeping a mixture of brown water where blood had sort of been soaked in. And as you guys strip away the final blanket or cloth or robe and reveal the woman's body, so the doggo, you finish going through all of the clothes.
Nice.
You grabbed
Go ahead.
You grabbed
Continue.
maybe 6 copper, all of them dating in age, some of them even being pre-spell plague, but the majority just from the Sword Coast.
I'd be able to sell this one to a coin collector.
You find a couple of wet pens. You find a fountain pen that has some like chipped out silver filigree. Nothing else of particular note. But as you were investigating the clothes, there was... I'm trying to put a word to it. A lot of the clothes you found were fresh, and taken with relative care. They're like, you've killed zombies before. You've seen the tear and wear on the clothes, and while these were obviously fitted in the bodies of zombies just from the zombie smell.
The smell, yeah.
There's no like slash marks in the clothes. There's no... There was a lot of reverence taken with killing these zombies and then taking the clothes off of them. And you're finding a lot of sentimental items put in pockets that people normally wouldn't carry those items in. If that makes sense.
I believe so. So it isn't just like these bodies weren't just like the clothes didn't look like they were like from zombies that had been like spending time in the jungle and were like ratty and tired and horrible. It looks like more like properly clothed undead that were killed carefully and then taken?
Yeah, what I'm trying to imply is that the clothes recovered here were taken from people familiar to whoever dispatched them.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so there was a lot of like fountain pens in pockets. Well, people don't carry fountain pens around in pockets because they're delicate and they break. Stuff like that.
Okay. It's well, nothing too interesting in the pockets. I found a interesting fountain pen with some silver filigree on it, but I don't think it means anything in particular. Most of
Thanks,
these
Grizzly,
were
for following. Appreciate it.
clothes from
Did you want
undead
to
that
give
had meant
inspiration to
something
anyone?
to the people that killed
When
them.
you follow, you actually give out a free inspiration, so whoever you want.
So, did those things appear in
Ted, who do
one
you want to
type
give
of
your
specific clothing?
inspiration to?
Like, for example, Yateka's fist, or was it spread throughout even the clothing from the Thayans?
Aw, thanks, you gave it to me.
That sense of people who killed them knew.
It was like all of them, right?
Some a Shao, not. You found like two Shaoan things, but the majority of them were Thayan, followed closely behind with Lord's Alliance.
Okay. Then no, it seemed to have been all of them.
So this could have been some sort of backwards vengeance killing.
I don't believe so. This seems like a pretty like a common area storage space.
No, I guess what I'm saying is her arm looked like it was holding something that it's no longer holding. So somebody could have come for whatever it was she was trying to hold on to. I just stabbed myself with the can, but it's better.
Careful. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Fine. So whatever she was trying to hold on to, this person could have been looking for it.
Like maybe either someone was trying to take something from the pockets, or she was trying to take something from the pockets.
Or, no, she had taken something from the pockets, and whoever owned the Chilton hand crossbow that, wanted it back. Never thought it should have come here to be processed, whatever this is.
Possibly. It might also just. Go ahead.
No, keep on.
It might also just be that she was looking to just coming here to get more close to. I don't know, keep herself warm.
I suppose we didn't get anything about who was running this operation, did we?
Based on the idea that it's not only the Lord's Alliance clothes taken care of, but the Thayans as well, I think it might be. There's a chance that this might have been a neutral storage area, possibly. I mean, why would a member of the Yatepka's Fist treat a Thayan robe kindly?
Potentially. Maybe there's like an office or some sort of ledger upstairs.
True, we haven't checked upstairs. That might be a good idea.
Maybe we should give the kitchen a once over before we move on any further. Oh, was there anything after we removed the clothes? Sorry.
So no, it's good. I love it. Looking at the stripped down body, she wasn't wearing Itepka's fist clothing. Her style of clothing appears to be from AMN, or somewhere in Cormier. She bled all over the front of herself. But Jet and Duvanith, just from glancing at it, you can see that it had begun to clot around where the arrow had penetrated her chin area. She has on very minimal jewelry, just a basic silver chain necklace with a very, very plain silver ring on it.
Oops.
She has on a beaded bracelet that was very clumsily made, and her body is... I'm terrible at describing, so I'm going to do my best to pantomime it. So she's kind of reclined back. She's got one arm tucked against her body, and the other one, like, clasped forward. There isn't anything of note, but now that her arms are fully exposed, Jet, taking a closer look, you can see that rigor mortis had set in several different ways. There's blood pooling, specifically 2 different ways. So it definitely looks like her body had been moved sometime after she had died.
Okay.
But you also got to think they did find her. So if she was crawling and she died that way, they flipped her over.
Right. So she may have been down on all fours, holding something in her hand.
That's what I was thinking.
Shuffling.
Yeah.
And then when they sat her up like this, that's why it looks like she's like presenting something.
Does it so is there a spot showing where she died? Like, is there a space that's like obvious of where like her body was before they moved it?
Right, like a corpse imprint or blood pooling in a significant way. No. Not on the floor, at least.
So,
yeah,
but
also like
blood pool on the front, so that means they found her alive.
Yeah, or they found her at least sitting up to some degree, if her body had bled out that particular way.
I mean, there certainly would have been blood from the initial shot, because I think she was attacked standing with a hand crossbow directly up, so that would have caused some blood.
Yeah, but who knows how long they were there? Like,
yeah,
because a shot here is there's still a bunch of like things there, so it could have instantly pulled down depending on how the shot was and if they were being held too.
Well,
based
also
on
like
based on my experience with shooting people in the
I would
neck,
never ever talk about my experiences. Wait, what?
Based on my experience of shooting people in the neck, is the amount of blood that's streaming down consistent?
Oh, Duvanith. Okay.
Yes. Damn.
I know that
I see how you really feel.
I know that Jason was deployed, but I'm pretty sure he was just the IT guy. So like,
Yeah, so was mine,
You don't.
but...
You know, only person that really knows is me.
yeah. I think you guys have mentioned that you guys didn't kill anyone, but
Of course, he was the IT guy. We were both IT guys. That's all we did.
But based on Duvanith's experience with shooting people in
Much
the neck,
better, Jason. Much better.
thank you. With and also tossing darts at people's necks. is the level of blood that is sort of pooled on her chest consistent with somebody who got attacked and then sort of fell over and crawled?
The level of blood pooling across her chest is inconsistent. I mean, it's copious amounts of blood, but it like if she had dragged herself through the blood, it would be blood on her stomach or thighs.
Right, sort of run it around to see if there's an inscription or anything on the inside.
Yeah.
It looks like she had to have still been bleeding pretty heavily when she was sat up like this. So
Yes.
I really think they found her alive.
Or the killer propped her up to talk to her as she was dying.
But rigor mortis
Ooh.
had already set in, and if she had been crawling,
Oh, true.
But if she had been also like clutching something to her chest, like did we rule that out?
Actually, yeah, think about that. If she's crawling, why would she have been holding onto her chest?
Yeah, like having your hands sort of like clawed like this doesn't really make for good. Well, I guess it could be like more like digging fingernails into the wood. Oh, are there any signs of like fingernails markings like in the wood?
It is stone.
Ah, never mind. Do her nails look like they've probably been like fucked up with? She's wearing acrylics.
Yes. Taking a look, there is, due to your background as a very invested father of a Sune acolyte,
Thank
and
God.
also as a gay man, the tips of her acrylics, which are, by the way, a like dusty brown color. She color coordinated her outfit in the jungle. Dedication. The tips are definitely scratched and frayed. There's no significant splintering, but they did go through heavy wear. And you can also note that there's, specifically on the hand clutching the paper, very significant ink smudging. And the ink
Clutching a
blots
paper?
had been, like, fresh. They weren't faded and they hadn't been washed. And you can even see where it had been frozen and started to kind of like chip off of her hand.
Okay. Based on how much of like the cuticle has grown out, could I determine like if the wear and tear like fray on the acrylics is like possibly just because like they were just like old as hell, or more recent?
Given the length of her cuticles, the acrylics had been applied maybe even hours before she died.
Ugh,
So they were very fresh.
wasted. They look very good. Okay, cool, interesting.
They were coffin cut. Ironic.
Fuck. You mentioned she was clutching a paper? Or should I forget that you said that?
I said ink.
Oh, I thought you said that she had been like
You said
clutching a paper.
she was clutching paper. Where she was clutching paper, ink was
like smudged around
smudged.
it, yeah.
Oh yeah, you should forget I said
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I have a
thought.
script, so I have no idea how I said that. But I mean, there are there are
She
fresh
has ink on her
smudges.
hands. Yeah, okay.
It was-
It's all good.
Is there any inscription on the inside of the ring? Since I'm
yes. To KK. I will find you in oblivion.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so as the father of a 6-year-old, can he tell that shitty bead bracelet is probably like from like a kid or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. F. Actually, does the Soul will take out the. Oh great, thanks, Kate. Soul will take out the fountain pen that he got earlier, and like give it like a little squirt. well, like, actually, like, where did he, like, find the fountain pen, like, within the clothes? Was it, like, more on top, or was it, like, really buried in there?
I would say about middling.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so he'll, like, give it, like, a little bit of a squirt to get some ink going if there's any in there still, and, like, uh,
There isn't. Checking through it, it appears that the ink inside of it has dried out or
mhm.
whatever from being frozen.
That makes
So if you
sense, yeah.
popped that bad boy open, the ink cartridge is probably gone.
Okay, cool. So at least if she was writing with something, it wasn't this one. Did he go through the pockets of all the clothes? Did the clothes that she was wearing also get processed, or just like the stuff on the table?
Just the stuff on the table.
Okay, so would go through her all the different like piles of clothing then
Around the chair.
around her specifically.
So around the chair.
Yes.
Okay. Are you want to make a roll, or do you want to take your time?
I have, as you mentioned, a 10 wisdom and a 10 intelligence. I'll take my time with it.
All right.
At this point, looking between the pen, the ink on her hand, Giovanith is going to go ahead and like squeeze the top of the like rag that she's wearing over her face, and will lean in to look at the hand that's clutched to her chest, to see if she could like poke around and see if there's anything actually in the clutched hand, or if it's more like clutched in like pain or like shivering.
Okay. Taking a sort of close look at it, yeah, it appears just to be from getting my words together.
Mhm.
It was just to press clothes tighter to her body.
Okay. I figured that was an option, but I also figured I'd check. And then she'll go ahead and use the flat of the blade on like areas where pockets would be to see if she feels anything of substance.
Okay. Taking a look at the clothes, these were definitely adventurer's wear. So there's a lot of pockets in strategic locations. You find very little, if anything. You'll find a like spherical black notepad that has black paper inside, and it appears to be soaked thoroughly with blood, and it was sort of found in a rather clever spot. She's wearing a tunic that tucks into, Spanish styled balloon pants, for lack of a better word, and it was sort of tucked in the hem there. So that's soaked through with blood. There's no identifiable writing or anything. And you don't find much else besides that.
Do you guys think that this might have like hidden ink on it?
It might just be that, like, the papers themselves aren't covered in blood, right?
No, Fish said soak through, so I think so.
Okay. Most likely it's just, well, soaked through. Actually, that reminds me, speaking of the blood, based on the coagulation we kind of have going at the wounds, could you tell how long she was alive before passing?
I could, but I think the only issue is because of Artis's frost over. I think it might be a little bit more difficult than normal. I could certainly try, but it may be a pain in the ass.
Can you know how long her body was frozen for?
When did Otis do the explosion again?
I believe this would be our 5th day, Eku says, from where
Oh,
she's
right,
been
Echo.
hiding out in the front.
Echo.
So
Got you there.
roughly 5 days it's been frozen.
Well, potentially. I mean, she could have. She's pretty bundled up. It's possible that the blast happened before, like right during or a little bit after, but no more than 5 days at least.
Someone might have used this as an excuse to kill her. The blast.
Jet will try to check the thing and what Soul suggested that Mark doesn't
All right,
understand.
medicine.
Sure. Rip me.
Okay. Is there any way that you want to modify that check, or...
I don't think I can. What's this? I can add a d6, but it probably won't do more than that, so no, I won't.
Okay. So taking a glance over it, specifically for how long she had been having the bolt. I'm getting my words together. Several hours, much more than 5. So she had been living with the bolt through her head for a substantial amount of time. And it's just taking a glance at it, the arrow through her chin area would have been extremely treatable. And chances are is that she died from exposure, not from blood loss or bolt related.
Oh.
You know, if we removed this bolt from her mouth, we could probably just ask her these questions.
We can just ask her as many questions as we want.
Up to 5,
We
but
should probably at least check upstairs first.
we can do that. I was about to until you. Every time I was going for a step, you called my name.
Oh, that's fine. Maybe we should do that now.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it sounds like there might actually be 2 culprits, or one who returned to the scene of the crime.
Well, how do you mean?
Whoever attacked her and put the bolt in her, and then whoever returned moved her and left her to die.
No, because she was moved.
We don't really have any. No, go ahead.
She was moved with rigor mortis, so she was dead while she was face down. Or there's someone. You said it was under her, so I'm just gonna say it. My thought is, she was crawling. Someone picked her up, did what they had to do, left her sitting up. She fell back over because that's when she started clutching, because no one crawls with one arm holding something and clutching in the other. So
You guys never did ask to specify how the rigor mortis was pulled.
Yeah,
I
we
just
only
wanted
know this
to clarify that.
oh,
What do you mean by pulled?
Like, does it look like? Go ahead.
So when a body begins to decompose, blood coagulates and, pools in certain areas of the body.
That is why I did not know to ask that. So
Yeah.
My apologies.
Didn't you ever watch NCIS? That was like one of the major things that they always looked at.
yeah, and there are also people who do hacking with 2 people on one keyboard. So how can I trust anything that they fucking say? Sorry.
Ducky was the best. Ducky, like the actor that. I'll talk about this later.
So I don't even know how to frame that question because I still don't understand it on a medical level. So I'm just going to go upstairs.
Yeah. Basically, the idea is that like when you die, your heart stops beating. So like wherever like you fall, all the blood's gonna go there, And so like if you're moved from where like you are, that blood's still gonna be like in the same place basically, because like it coagulates. It gets gross.
Right. So due to the laws of gravity, what I'm saying still applies. That there was someone who showed back up at the scene of the crime and moved her,
Okay.
Yeah.
but she was
So-
not necessarily alive while sitting in the chair.
Okay. So yeah, someone came up and put her in the chair, but she wasn't alive when that happened.
But we're talking about blood pooling here. So if blood was pooling here while she is sitting up, her heart has to be beating for that blood to get pumped to fall from the wounds onto where it's pooling.
To double check, where had the other blood coagulated? Like,
So on her arms right here, and if you check her legs, like the bottom of her feet, under her thighs.
okay, so she kind of died. Like, is there any sort of like similar stuff like on her back?
Are you going to check?
So well.
Okay. Checking her back, there doesn't appear to be any significant like blood coagulation there, so she didn't die on her back.
Okay. So that looks a bit like she died sort of like on her arms and legs, kind of. So maybe like while crawling. Is what I'm currently gathering from it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I'm explaining it poorly. She died sitting.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see. Because like, yeah, arms down. Okay, so she died in her chair. Yeah.
But still with her arm up, because the blood was coagulating here. Because if her arm had been down like this, it would have been coagulating here.
Okay,
Because-
so like, yeah, she died holding the thing, and then holding her arm out like that, and like it just sort of stayed.
maybe due to the amount of blankets. Or something.
Possibly. Or yeah, because like that would like help prop up the arm, or
Okay, but does it?
like
So,
she also like froze too. It was exposure, so like
yeah.
that could also just like freeze her to some degree. I'm
So, as
in like junior year. I should do
she's walking up the stairs, she's going to look for any bloody signs of like things on the back of the chair or side of the chair that looks like a bloodied person would have been fighting their way into the chair. Or does it look like somebody might have picked the person up and plopped them? Because like,
Okay.
I've got to imagine she would have been struggling to get into the chair. Or at least that's my guess. I don't know.
I'm processing your question. So there are very significant signs that she had struggled to get into the chair.
Okay. So basically, that means that one attacker theory is definitely still on. Nobody disturbed the scene.
Yes, at least didn't disturb her.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever she might have been gripping, though, I'm thinking that she might have. Well, no. If all the ink and stuff was frozen, how could she have?
Maybe she wrote something before it froze.
Yeah. I go upstairs.
All right. Checking upstairs, just getting a glance around, you can find blood on smeared on the railing. You can find a bloody handprint against a wall upstairs, and it's trailing into what must be a bedroom.
Okay.
Not trailing, but like leading towards a bedroom.
Just utilizing like either my dagger or my own hand. How large is this handprint? Phil Collins plays.
What? So putting stop. Putting your stop. Sorry.
Like you. You're like me.
I can't get the just the like image of this murder mystery happening, and Giovanna putting her hand against it, and then like faded in the background is like you are in my heart, and then like
Yeah, no, she's just floating it because, yeah, but just to see,
Her
like,
hands.
yeah, just to see, like, did the person have, like, pickle jar hands or they large hands or whatever?
Significantly larger hands.
Okay, big hands. Dubonnet will call back down and say, looks like whoever it was fled via upstairs?
Possible that well, are there any bloodstains on the floor? Does it look like she may have gone up there?
No, just the handrail and a handprint on the wall. And
Mm.
they don't look like her handprints because there aren't small little blood-stained acrylic. You know what? Never mind.
Yeah. Looking at her hands, does she have small hands or like big hands?
Small hands. She was very much a lady in like not dainty, but like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, all hands look small to me. Okay. Good to know. Keep an eye out. I don't think anyone's still here, but if someone finds out we're here to solve a murder, they might come back to deal with things.
That would simplify everything, so I'm all for that. She'll open the door.
So stepping inside, it appears to be a ratty, relatively undisturbed Mesron bedroom. Their beds had sort of consisted of, I'm trying to get a good phrasing for this, like bathtubs, but filled with a bunch of like nesting material. So they're
that
not like
sounds so
beds in
good.
a traditional sense. Yeah, very much nests.
Oh, I love it. I want one.
There's a bucket placed up like in a corner, metal, definitely modern, filled with bloody water, and judging by some disturbances, you can tell that someone had definitely left through the window. They don't have glassed-in windows. They're just kind of covered with fabric, but the rotted fabric that had been hanging has been like torn. So someone left through the second floor in a hurry.
And what can I see from that window?
All right, glancing around, you can see the across from you street that has a second floor balcony, and looking next to you, you can see that there's a... So you know how British houses are connected, and that's why when London gets a fire, it kills entire families?
Yeah, it's like a row home situation.
Yes, but instead of like a roof, it's like a flat connecting area. I don't know how to describe it. I know there's a word for them, but it's like...
Yeah, we're looking at like a row home situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because this is Dungeons and Dragons and everything has to be magical, I will forgo the interior trappings of the bedroom. I'm going to look out the window, and in lieu of anything else, I'm actually going to look across the road at the second floor balcony. How far is the distance? And do I see any like disturbances on like the handrails and things like that? Like somebody would have cast like that one spell that lets you jump really far that nobody ever uses.
You mean jump?
Yeah, well, no, there's another one too, isn't there?
No, jump is the one.
Oh, okay.
Make a perception check. Arcana check.
Sure. I'm
Make
specifically looking for like disturbances, so I'm gonna go
okay, yeah, and perception.
Duvanith is just like this. This would be some shit. 23.
So the
Okay.
distance across is okay. I'm doing mathematics in my head right now because I do know it is entirely possible for people to leap in raw, vanilla, no arcanical inputs for people to leap 20 feet forward.
There's a
So it's 20
checker
feet?
online.
Oh, thank you. So there is a 20-foot gap. You can't see any significant disturbances on the opposite side. There's no tearing in the windows, nothing of that import. But as you are scanning the rooftops, you catch, I want to say, 3 different things. You can see bundled in a far off distance a group of humanoid winged people, what you can assume to be terrafolk given their very distinct silhouette, observing the house very intently at a very, very far distance. They're like shadows. And much closer, you can see the figure of a terrafolk. This one a lot more obvious. They're sort of hiding out in a house rooftop, like 3 streets away. And it appears to be a terrafolk along with an Aarakocra with dusty red feathers. And they are watching intently, but not more like observing. And the Aarakocra is trying to wiggle something in his hand, sort of like wiggling it back and forth.
Like wiggling it with the intent of me seeing it, or like he's trying to get something to work, like shaking a magic wand. Like, why isn't this working?
A little bit of both.
Duvanith will just go, I needed that fresh air, and then we'll just kind of like pull and turn around and we'll like do her best to like stage whisper loud enough so folks downstairs can hear it. And she'll say, "We're being watched. Terrafolk, 4 of them, 3 far away, 1 close, 1 Aarakocra, dusty red feathers. Don't know if that's dry blood. We'll see. I think they're watching us."
Did Soul ended up helping out around Kirsabal a lot. Do dusty red feathers sound familiar at all?
There were a few Aarakocra with red feathers, but they tended to be bright plumage painted using clay or other things. However, you do know from having to be a part of all of the Aarakocra gossip that Ashara's family had distinguished themselves for having naturally red plumage.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh.
Interesting. Alright. Soul will sort of like whisper up to Duvanith. Did you need any help?
No, I just don't know what I or we or anyone should do about it.
Well, they might know something. And I mean, if they tried to attack us, we could probably take them.
I mean, probably, but also I think that the 3 Terrafolk might be watching them, or watching us, trying to watch them. I don't know. I mean, I can.
Were they watching us or the Aarakocra?
I don't know. I mean, I could try to get over there and talk to them.
Uh-huh. I just have really sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, me too. I think I've got some theories.
Yeah, alright, fuck. Yeah. Just see if you can figure out what they're doing. That's what I suggest. Can you hear me? Oh.
I will crack the curtains and look to see what they're doing.
You see the Aarakocra slamming something against his hand, and he keeps slamming it, and the Terrafolk kind of just closes a hand over the Aarakocras, and then you see the two of them get into like a brief argument, and the Aarakocra lifts the thing and starts gesturing with it wildly, pointing back at the Terrafolk, and then the Terrafolk that the Aarakocra is with, like, throws his wing out to stop him from very blatantly exposing themselves to the Aarakocra, and so they're just getting into a tiff.
Does whatever they're holding seem comparable in size to what the body was holding, or it's different?
Were you paying close attention to it?
Yeah, no, that's been my primary focus because I'm wondering if it's what was taken from the scene.
It appears to be a magnifying lens.
Oh, like a spyglass of some kind?
No, like a detective magnifying lens. Like,
Oh god. Is this
The
like... This
the
is like...
layman's detect magic.
Yeah, okay. Guys, I think they're trying to investigate the same crime. They have like a magnifying glass.
I don't know why a magnifying glass would be helpful all the way over there. Shit, could I ask a favor of you?
Sure.
Could you contact Kushkal and ask her if any of Ashar's relatives are still alive? And if they'd be, and where they might be?
Sure. Do you want me to just do that, or did you have specific wording?
I think no specific wording. I'm wondering if, seeing as how they're with Aarakocra, maybe this is a Aarakocra that might have traveled with Razan.
Okay, so what am I asking again?
You're asking if Ashara has any living relatives and where they might be at this moment. And if they would have any connection to Razan, maybe? If you have space.
And what was the last one?
If they would have any connection to Razan, to her mother.
How do you
If you
spell
have
that?
extra space.
No, probably not. I definitely don't have that much extra space.
Just say to her mother.
Connections
I-
to your mom?
Just no context out of anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. If you have
Well,
extra space, by the way, how's the little raptor doing?
It bit somebody and it's already been hurled off Kirsabal.
it already bit someone, but it was Tyrion, so it got meat today.
So while he's typing that out, inside the bedroom there's the bloody bucket and the bed. Is there anything else like a armoire or anything like that, or is that just mostly it? Very Spartan.
Very Spartan. There's some shelving, but it's been stripped clean. There's a sort of closet, but it's more like a shallow inset into the wall with a space to hang stuff, but it isn't like as closed off as modern closets are, if that makes sense. Like everything was open.
Yeah, so I can see inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you will cast Sending and send it to Koshko.
You'll get a response about a minute later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nephir, her nephew, was my mom's champion, but he died at Firefinger.
Uh-huh.
Your boyfriend is fine, by the way. Don't tell Soul. We found out how, and then the message cuts off.
She knew only of one. Nafir, her nephew, and died at Firefinger. That's it.
There wasn't anything else.
No, it wasn't much to answer. The only known relative is dead.
Interesting, that. Did she say, like, well, I guess the connection to the mother is that they both died at the same place?
Mother's champion. Sorry, forgot that.
Oh.
Oh, that changes everything. No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And do you know who else?
Was that Firefinger?
Yeah.
The Terrafolk?
Should I go talk to these guys?
Alone?
If you don't want to, I will.
Okay, never mind.
Well, no, Jet, what do you think?
Nothing. I was gonna say don't go alone, but if you want to go, then I guess we're all going.
Well, okay, as long as you're fine with it. I mean, we're a group here.
Well, no, I'm just saying I didn't want her going alone. That's all. I did want to do one thing, and Jet's gonna just stand in the middle of the first floor where he still is and cast Detect Magic.
That's a smart idea.
Alright, casting Detect Magic. Nothing apparent. Nothing like very obvious blips in with Detect Magic. There's this gentle, soft, divine radiance to almost everything, especially the building.
Oh, yeah.
And the ring has... Give me 1 second. Just to double check.
Cole's gonna get more rings.
The ring has transmutation magic coming from it.
So.
Okay. The only, I guess we're just gonna go down and look at it. What was the inscription on it again?
2KK will see each other in oblivion.
Slider?
Is there a clasp on the necklace?
There is. You can assume as much.
Yeah. Jet will gently take it off and go, I will try my best to find where this belongs to. And he'll clasp it back and put it in his pocket.
Alright, let's go see what this is all about.
What?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm coming down.
Yeah, let's go. Devon just starts hopping the fucking roofs. No.
Eku is going to kind of lean against the door frame. Do you need me to lead you through the streets of Mesro, or do you want me to stay with the body, or...
I think you staying with the body might be a good idea in case anyone tries to do anything to it while we're away.
Want me to investigate anything particular, check back anything you guys might have come across, or...
If you happen to find where the pen that she was writing with, or had where the ink may have come from, or anything to do with that, that'd be very helpful. But
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look and see what I can do.
Did you have any better suggestions?
No, that's my largest lingering question as well.
Okay.
All right. As you guys travel through the streets of Mesru, heading towards where the Arakakra and Terrafolk were waiting, trying to signal for your guys' attention, we are going to take a brief 10-minute break.
Oh boy.
All right, we will be right back, guys.
We are back at the notary office with my receptionist, secretary, and bartender who have uncomfortable insight into the personal lives of my clients. Of course, gathered with me again, Sam, Jason, and Mark, and Muty, who is on a unpaid vacation off and using employee benefits that are severely blah blah blah. Bit goes on for too long.
They're with us in our hearts.
Yes, mine mostly. Um,
That's solid.
the group finds themselves 3 streets over, standing standing in the shadow of one of the many Mesron buildings. This one painted with faded imageries of dinosaurs and animals in motion. Around thigh level for Duvanathan Jet, they can see many childish scrawlings of mazes or flowers or whatever doodle might have come to their heart. Standing on that rooftop is a dusty red Aarakocra and a Terrafolk who I assume that you guys had entered the street with intent to be seen.
If Soul would have, unless someone said otherwise.
Yeah, as long as where we're standing can't also be seen by those three that were like watching the two, if that makes sense.
You'll hear the Aarakocra kind of yell down. Fuck, I have to fit a character voice.
What? I'm trying to tickle you.
Is this Aarakocra cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Oh,
Shut
fuck
up. Hello? Are you the adventurers who shot and attacked Terrafolks many days ago?
They attacked us, but yes. And are you Nafir? Person that's supposed to be dead?
Yes, I am Nafir, current champion of the Amuan royal family and current beloved champion of the Kushkali, Mushunari, and Vajan. I am going to come down. I have in attendance with me a young Terrafolk named... You hear some quiet back and forth. Yes, I know that they attacked you. Yeah,
Yep.
I know that's a little uncomfortable, but you're also the one who specifically brought us here to... No, I think I'm talking loud enough. What do you mean I need to have a whisper voice? I'm an Aarakocra. My voice deserves to be heard. Yeah, we're going down. Can you bring me down? Just one moment. Yeah, just bring me down. Just stop. Okay. A moment will pass, and the Terrafolk and Aarakocra will slip their head out from the legend to get a good look at you. The Nafir kind of cocking his head like that and making a few hooting noises before the Terrafolk spreads his wings and kind of glides forward, hooking Nafir with his feet and gently gliding the pair of them down. They will land on the street and safely present themselves. The Terrafolk is 10 feet tall, his leathery skin smeared in some kind of reddish material, if you had to guess, like fat from an animal of some kind. And he's clutching a clothed bag of some kind in one of his hands, and he's hunched in on himself, sort of sheltering Nafir with his body. Nafir is a tall Aarakocra standing at maybe 5'5", a solid head taller than any Aarakocra that you guys have been around, and he would be a very handsome Aarakocra if it weren't for the splotches of ripped feathers, the cracked beak he has, the scars and cuts sort of meandering over his body, and the two skeletal wings folded against his
Ugh.
back where feathers had been ripped from his plumage and wings. He's very clearly been suffering from severe torture, abuse, neglect.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, that's ugh. Okay.
Despite this, he has a very uppity composure and stands with a posture and aura that you've come to sharply expect from Koshkal.
Looks like they're raised by the same people, probably.
Can we ask what you're doing here?
Yes. Nefir will look back at the Terrafolk. The Terrafolk will look back down at him. Would you be willing to speak, Nefir? I'm still uncomfortable. Yes, I've got this. Yes, we would be delighted to tell you. Nefir, he'll extend his hand.
Divaneth.
Divaneth. Nefir will extend his hand to Solidago.
Soul Dago Semper.
Very pleased to meet you. He'll extend a hand to Jet. Nefir.
Jet, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. An Ergenasi. Very good news. Your presence is reassuring in these coming times. Yes. What was the original question?
What are you doing here? We were under the impression that you were dead.
Yes, almost. This brave Terrafolk, Azutak, saved me. We are here to warn you. You are currently being watched by almost all of the remaining Terrafolk army, and they have full intents on killing you.
Mm-hmm. And what brought about the decision to warn us?
Common decency?
Fair, but we did kill a lot of them. Which, sorry
That's-
about that.
That's
In
probably why they're bringing an army now.
Well, yes, but
Nefir will glance back up at Azurtak, and Nefir will rest a hand on his forearm and give a sort of reassuring nod, and Azurtak will lean forward, talking very slowly and deliberately. Yes, you killed many of my friends, but you still let me walk. I had an obligation to pay and time to think for myself.
well, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Also, Nefir is very bossy, and I am the only one who can fly between the two of us, so
Nafir, I'm just going to ask you point blank. Is Razan still alive?
Nefir will take a second and sort of smooth a hand down the front of his body and clasp his fingers in front of him. He's very uncomfortable. No. She died 10 feet out from Firefinger.
I would like to see if he's telling the truth.
All right.
Me too, please.
Hit me with those inside checks, inside checks, inside checks.
Ouch.
He is telling the truth. He's more trying to mask how hard it is for him.
Okay. Duvaneth will say, I'm sorry to hear that, though. I'm sure if you heard about the Terrafolk attack, you know that uh, Majanare is okay. We got her back to Kirsabal.
Well, Nafir will stand a little bit straighter, and you can see the feathers sort of ringed around his neck puff up with delight. He's an incredibly expressive Aarakocra, and who'll bob his head up and down in a bow. Um, we'll return there. One of the reasons we came here is to recover the Omuan artifact that gave me the privilege of being champion in the first place. The We'll take a second. Other Terrafolk had stolen it and sold it to someone here. So I'm intent on recovering it.
What does it look like? We're currently tracking down a artifact of our own, as well as whoever killed Kestra. Kestra. He'll point back towards the building that they just came from.
Oh, it's a clay tablet. It has the only recorded message of Omuan, and I took it from the ruins of Omu, straight from the noses of the Yuan-Ti, I should say. It's what we've been using to pass on Omuan to the young royal family.
Fantasy roots a stone, if you will.
Yes, it's just an Omuan, but it
I
helps.
see. Yeah. Interesting. In that case, well, we're currently on a mission that Devoneth already stated. But no, but warn us. We assume that the other Terrafolk aren't with you.
Azatek will give a kind of small, nervous laugh and shake his head no.
Those, there were 3 other figures that looked like they were following you.
Azatek will kind of give a slow nod. Need us to do something about them?
No, just, is that all we need to be worried about, or is that a forward scouting party of some kind?
No, that's just the scouting party. If I had to guess, maybe a force of 30 Terrafolk? You killed a sizable many of them.
So they thought it wise to come for round 2?
To be fair, Devoneth, we
Azatek
didn't
will
really fight 30 before.
No, but we also didn't have the advantage of an urban sprawl either.
Are they coming here, or did they... Oh, sorry. You're about to talk.
I don't know how they plan about going about it, but they had wanted to kill you for a decent amount of time. I spent most of my time scouting, so I was never involved in the going-ons.
Wonderful.
Alright. Well, we'll have to be wary of that. How long have you been here? Since we've been here?
Azertak will look at Nephir. Nephir will look back at Azertak. We aren't sure.
How are you not sure? Like,
Mm.
you don't know how many days you've been here?
Yes, the time tends to be liquid for both of us.
In what way?
Nephir will stare at Solidago.
Like, in like a magical sense? Like a literal sense of like time's weird for you, or like you guys have just been through a shit ton of trauma and you guys kind of lost count?
Oh god. Is it magical trauma?
Nephir will sort of like cock his head, unsure how to answer, then Azertak will lean forward. Nephir held a crutch on the Princess Mercenari and relied on her for time telling and days, and you weren't supposed to tell them that.
Ah, I see. Well, don't worry. That's fine. Well, do you remember a sheet of ice over this area? Like,
Yes, I remember the biting cold. Artis must have run into some problems here.
yes, Messica died. That's why he came here. Sorry,
Now that you've warned us, are you both planning on traveling back to Kirsabal?
We're hoping to at least find out who has the tablet, but if we can't find it within the next rain, we'll be returning to Kirsabal, where hopefully the Kushkatl will give Azertak mercy, or at least a fair death and trial.
Well, we will keep our eyes out for the tablet regardless, and I'm sure that you'll be just fine, Azatok.
Azertak will give a grateful bow of the head, and he'll sort of he'll look meaningfully at Jet. Genasi boy, it's Jet. Jet. You're able to message people with wires and strings and weaves.
Yes?
okay, sorry. Something weird happened with my Discord. It kept going on and off and on and off.
You good?
My name is Azertak. I can fly very fast. If you or the others need help, if I'm still alive, do not hesitate to call for me. And this goes for all of you. And who'll go to say some more, and then kind of like close his mouth and just kind of resume his awkward posture.
Not to be rude, Azotak, but your people want to kill us. I'm talking to the thing, right?
To the
Okay.
Terrafolk, yeah, the 10-foot Terra
I'm trying to
monster.
make sure the names are still correct. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I'm not. Please don't tell me I'm talking to Eric Cocker right now. Um, and please don't take this as rude, but why would you offer help if your army wants to come and kill us within the next couple of days?
Esotek will take a second to think, and then he'll sort of look down at Nafir and look back at you all. They have as much reason to kill me as they have to kill you.
So, you're not with them anymore?
No. If I was, why would I warn you?
You know, I've read a lot of history of the enemy warning them just so that way the fight was more glorified. So,
He'll take a second and he'll think, like genuinely trying to process that information, and then he'll say, No, the terror folk attack people in their sleep. We don't believe in a glorified death, just a quick one.
well, Azatek, if it ever becomes a need, I will remember you and send you a message.
He'll straighten up and look pleased with this and bob his head, mimicking what Nefir did.
Jet will bow his head as well.
Oh, who left?
What?
Oh, no, someone left.
Sam just bounced.
I hit a button by accident.
Duboneth has a pen and parchment out and is scrolling something furiously on the back of her leg. She's like taking a knee and is writing something.
So offers her like his back or something.
Duboneth, thank you, and we'll go back to it.
Gets all bumpy because they're scales, but it works.
Nifir and Azutak kind of stand there awkwardly, and then Nifir says, So saw that Shago was in town.
He is. He's.
Mm.
You might want to avoid him, Azertak, by the way.
Azutak nods, and he kind of chuckles a little bit, and Nefir will. That's one of the reasons why we haven't reached out to him. I wouldn't be able to get into Promise without Azurtak, and the Lord Prince Shago's.
Wouldn't take kindly to hearing about their folk being the
Yes.
cause of yeah that is what happened with that.
Duboneth will look up from her scrolling for a second, and then will add, "He's here looking for Orbex. I'm not sure if you're familiar."
Uh, if this was a drama series, the camera would zoom in on Nafir's face, and his eyes get beady, and all of the plumage he has left on his body flares out. And he goes, Horvex is here.
Shit.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you know
Yeah.
where?
Here we go. I feel like Keenan and Kel.
We have a general idea, but no specifics.
Huh. Where would that be? He squints.
Duboneth squints back.
I don't see any harm in telling them, Duvoneth.
We kind
Yeah.
of need something first.
Yeah, but Shago wants to kick his ass, and Shago kicking his ass is contingent on us getting information as to where the cube is.
True.
Oh, that would prove counter-effective because I just want to kill him.
I'm pretty sure Shago does too. I was being polite.
Oh.
Mm. But he's in a place that he can't escape from. At least not easily.
1 second, you guys you guys going to anybody in Mesor? Hi, do you want to kill Orbex? Do you have any personal grievance with Orbex that makes you want to kill him?
Do I?
Boy, do I!
The answer is always yes, no matter who we ask.
Um, Nafir will kind of start to get uppity, and as he does, Azertech like just places a hand on her shoulder and is like, remember your obligations and duties. You can't go on revenge killings, at least not without Princess Marjanar's permission. And Nafir's like, yeah, but it really just, can you think about what it would, I just,
Don't worry.
He will be. No, go ahead.
We'll make sure that justice is delivered. Speaking of which, Dubaneth will roll up the paper after sort of blowing the ink dry and extend it towards Azatak.
Azertech takes it.
Give that to the princess if she gives you a hard time.
Azertech will nod his head again.
Why do you have a magnifying glass?
Nafir pulls it out. Why don't you have a magnifying glass? I always keep a magnifying glass. It's a useful tool, and as he's gesturing with it, you can see that there's no glass inside of it.
And also expensive as hell.
No glass inside of it? Is it like a spellcasting focus of some kind?
No, it's like broken.
Oh! So, okay.
He's a little bit loopy, it's okay.
He would say that he's cuckoo for... Okay. No.
Fuck you.
Okay, giving you another red card.
Gotcha. When he's speaking, like saying, like, "Oh, you don't," is it like a defensive sort of speaking?
Yeah.
So like, I'm actually not even going to dig too far into it. I'm guessing it's some sort of like token or something, and I'll leave it be.
Okay. Nafir and Azertak are going to take their leave. They're sort of going to stay in the residential quarter, and they're not going to cause anything major, but if they come across a scouting party or any terra folk, they will not engage. But they're going to be on strict Cold War terms.
Cool. All right. That did not push our investigation any further forward, but it was interesting.
Yes, that was. Well, good to know about the army of Terrafil coming after us.
Yeah, that's concerning. Especially because after this, once we're done here, we have to go to Dungrungalung, which is a stone's throw from Firefinger.
Yes, and we won't have cover of a bunch of people.
A bunch of people and a bunch of buildings. I would much rather fight 30 terrafolk where I can have overhead cover that they can't just destroy with spears.
Agreed. But we can approach that when we get here. when it comes to it.
Yeah, it might be something we want to mention to Shago or whoever might be able to get word out to the different factions, perhaps. Splitting their attention at this point might be a good thing.
Ah, I see. To be fair for a second, Devon, I thought you were going to say that you're going to tell Eku specifically to rub her nose in it.
No, because we were both kind of right at the end of the day. Sparing Azatak worked out because he came to warn us. And I was right in the fact that we would have an army of Terrafolk come down on us if we let him go. So, 1-1.
True, but to be fair, if they did send such a big party after us, that it's worth sending an army to avenge them. I mean, they probably knew about it already, I imagine, but that's just speculation now.
Yeah, we have no way of knowing, unfortunately. And I'm not going to ask Azatak because it might,
Yeah. But we should continue on with the investigation. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I think we're probably about to say the same thing. I don't know if there's anything else we can get or learn from the actual scene itself.
Yes, you might have to go move on to questioning the locals. Try to get a beat on what they might have been up to.
Yeah, maybe asking who knew her and things like that. Obviously, Jet is able to.
Yes, speak of dead.
So I don't know when you all, or when we think would be an appropriate time to do that. I think the biggest questions have more to do with what she knew as opposed to how the crime went down.
I agree. She was alive for a while. Why didn't she seek help? And
probably because the arrow probably lodged her mouth shut because it shot up into it.
well, true, but she was alive for hours. She could have gone to the door instead of to the desk.
Maybe she was trying to write a note because she couldn't speak.
Maybe Echo has found something on the ink since she was dealing with that.
Yes, that's a good. Yeah, we should head back and ask.
All right, let's do that.
All right. You guys head back. Eku is leaning against the door frame, arms crossed, and she has a dainty silver pen extended between her fingers. Um, um, Found this.
Oh, where did you find that?
Uh, she'll take a second to process and think under the chair.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Did you find anything else with it, or just that?
Just the pen. It was the only thing I looked for.
Oh. Duvaneth will extend her hand so she can see it.
Passes it over.
Give it a quick once over in her hand to see if there's sort of anything significant about it outside of the fact it's a silver pen.
So it's a pretty silver pen. It's definitely modern, definitely on a sort of innovative edge. One could call it a ballpoint pen. It's got
Nice.
some smudged blood, but it's been sort of cleaned, like very haphazardly cleaned. Um, And I'm going to assume that you sort of like click it out and examine what ink it uses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Silver, like a very pretty glittery silver.
Does it match the ink on her hands?
Shit.
I forgot.
No, I accidentally caused an inconsistency. Yes, because I never specified what color it was, I think.
Either way, so with that, Dubaneth will then take the pen over to her arm and hand that were rigor mortised in a specific location, and we'll see if it will set in as if she died scribing something.
Taking a glance in, yes, she had definitely died holding the pen along with something else.
Along with
So it
something
was,
else, like in her hand that was clenched, or
uh,
you mean
no,
like
like in this, like she had been holding the pen and another object.
okay, so like there's like blood and ink that like indicates that there was something else in her hands as she was doing this.
I'm trying to find a good way to phrase this. So the way her hand was clenched,
Okay.
it left more space. Like if she had been holding a pen, it wouldn't be as open as it had been.
Right. So it was kind of more of like a like there's the pen here and then this space where something else was obviously also being held because this isn't a natural way to hold a pen or something akin to
Yes,
that. Okay.
precisely, exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duvaneth will say, well, the pen fits, but it's not a natural way to hold a pen. It looks like she was holding something else too, but it's not the type of pen that uses an inkwell.
Yes. Well, based on the fact that she has this ink on her hands and she came up to this table to do something with the pen, I mean, what did people do with pens but write? So perhaps she had a note in her hand?
Is there wait? Oh my gosh. Yes. Fucking yes. So is there a surface where it looks like she might have been writing a table in this area?
Around the chair.
Yeah, like a
Um,
coffee table, side table type deal.
they're not near the chair, but there is a coffee table pushed into a corner under some shelving.
Duvaneth will um, go over to that and actually, well, it's blood soaked, so that doesn't help. She will go ahead and take out a stick of chalk and will place a piece of parchment down on the coffee table and make a etching to see if there is any imprint of the ballpoint pen, as though she was drafting on this coffee table and may have left an imprint in the wood or anything like that.
All right.
Oh.
Make me a dexterity check to see how gently you're able to apply the chalk.
Okay.
Nice.
About what I expected.
I was about to be like, can I do a handstand and then do it for an acrobatics?
Some XP out of this?
I'm sorry, just the idea that everyone else is like doing this normally, and then Duvon is like doing like a split while supporting herself on one hand, like. Um,
Just to show off. Just to show off. No other reason.
so the wood is soft. It has been soaked through with water and given wear and tear, so just the lightest writing sort of leaves an impression.
Ooh.
And you're able to get a rubbing of some words. Give me a second, and I will type those out. It's impartial, but
Ouch.
As you write, Duvanoth will say, "It looks like it looks like the coffee table was moved, and I'm just going to go ahead and see if maybe the writing left an imprint, and she'll go to town."
True, it's been very wet recently. I'm sure if the thing wasn't treated properly, it could leave an impression.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out what that other object might have been in her hands. We still haven't checked
Well,
the
a
kitchen.
note. Like,
Like so you're thinking like she finished and gripped like a parchment and the pen with the parchment.
yes, like maybe she was attempting to write down like who did this or some other important information.
Mm. Duwaneth will relay that to the party.
Hmm.
And I'll have a note for it in campaign tomorrow.
Wait a minute.
Okay. Yeah, trying to figure out what this is.
Do you think that? God damn it! My notes are a fucking mess from last session. Do you think TLN could be Tahalan?
Possibly. Uh, and then uh, the CC. Who could that be? Coal Scuttle? No.
What does the inside of
Oh,
the ring
Children
say?
Crocodile.
Never
CC
mind.
Children Crocodile? Sorry.
No, say that again, Mark.
I just wanted to verify what was the inscription inside the ring again.
KK.
Oh, okay. Never.
KK, I will find you in Oblivion, and it's magic.
Mhm.
But I
Um,
CC might be Children Crocodile.
like, oh yeah, Children of the Crocodile. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, addressed to Tahalan, Children of Crocodile.
Foreskin one.
I'm good. I wasn't gonna say it, but you right.
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw that. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
same. That's all I'm gonna be able to think of now. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I know. I have that same problem.
Yeah.
Forsaken one.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
Or
that's Children of Crocodile. The Children of the Crocodile Forsaken one.
a very shitty drawn circle. NNHLT. Um.
Two of the missing kids have NNT names.
Yes. Joho, Nalan, TM, and Koma.
Yeah.
Um. Armistice, the Thayans, Zygamira doesn't fit. We might not know it yet. Amdala.
I think the Children of the Crocodile have the tablet that fucking. Uh, that,
Possibly?
I mean, I have it in my notes. Children of the Crocodile. Tablets translate.
Oh, true.
Got mentioned at some point. That's great. Um,
Oh, does this look anything like your uh does this look at all like Thieves' Camp to you, Duvanis?
I mean, does it? But even then, it looks a lot
Like,
like shorthand of some kind.
like it might be Cormorian or uh um uh shorthand
Yeah.
if it
Does
is.
it look like thieves' can't at all fish or no?
No, it just looks like a generic shorthand.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least it's knocked out. Um, we'll have to.
Seems like maybe we should ask Tahalan about a forsaken one of the children of the crocodile and see if that opens up
Yeah.
some goals or some other like things
Yeah.
to think about.
Yes, maybe we could bring this note to her and see what she says. See if
Yeah.
this would ring any bells to her that doesn't ring to us.
Or should we ask the children of the crocodile who
I
their
would prefer not to go near them. They seem sketchy as hell.
I mean, everyone here seems sketchy as hell.
Yeah, that is fair.
Do we think we haven't checked the kitchen yet? I
No, we
don't-
haven't.
So maybe we should do that and then go and
Oh shit, we still have to do Speak of Dead. We should do that now before you forget again.
yeah, let's do it. Okay, who's gonna pull the bolt out?
Soul comes over and snaps it out.
All right, make a
Okay.
strength check.
Oh god.
So
So please be gentle so you don't break the jaw off.
You brace her with one hand, grip the end of the bolt with the other, and like helping Liz get a snarled tooth out, you just kind of wiggle it out with all of the wet squelching, the dislodged tissue, the coagulated blood schlicking off with it.
it's a nasty
And
time.
you dislodge the bolt. The head of it is a flaked obsidian.
I'm surprised it's stuck to the bolt. Right. Is that good, Jet?
Jet's gonna come in after Soul's task and see if the jaw is at least a little bit movable. Or is it like disattached?
I mean, it's movable. You can make
Okay.
it go up and down.
No, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like disattached or anything like that. Okay,
No, Soul did a good job.
okay, so
Okay, good Jet.
Jet's gonna sit down. So, hopefully it was within the last 10 days. Hard to really tell. We can do 5 questions, and she may not answer truthfully, but hopefully she will.
If we can convince her that we'll get her note to whomever, maybe she'll be more willing. I assume that's how that works.
This no. Essentially, the answers. Essentially, she answers the way she wants. It's just she can't go into a full paragraph of answers.
Well,
but
yes, if we
we could try
you're
to
good.
convince her, but I'm just saying we need to make sure we're not fully believing she's telling the truth 100%, just in case.
I see what you mean, yes. I insight check the corpse.
Of course. So what are the questions we want to ask?
Well, I mean, I guess who killed you? I mean, Chago said that he did, but I don't remember if we checked him or not.
So is it, do we want to ask who killed you or who let you die?
Well,
Because we
well, I
know
guess we could say who shot you.
well, we know who shot her. The question is, who came back and moved her and let her die? That's the
But
question.
I don't. Did we
Jason, you're
decide that she
muted.
moved? You're muted,
Jason,
Jason.
you're muted.
Oh no, I thought we were able to figure out that she fought her way up into the chair.
Okay.
So
Yeah, she didn't actually move there herself.
Okay.
Well, I guess. Why did? Why were you shot? Get a motive.
well, and also if they don't know, then that confirms whether or not like there was any speaking back and forth between the two.
Yeah. And then there's some other good questions.
What was the well, we can't say what was the note for because we picked it off of the table, and that could honestly be a multitude of written things that you picked up.
True.
We could
True.
ask who the Forsaken One is.
Well, we could ask her what she was holding, in case it wasn't the note.
True.
So you want question 2 to be what were you holding when you died?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Then that confirms if we have something else we need to look for aside from the note.
Mhm.
I don't want to ask who the Forsaken One is because we don't even know if that's correct.
Correct. Maybe it is the foreskin one.
Oh god damn it! I mean, we could ask what NNHLT means.
Hmm.
The only thing I'm worried about is, like I said, you grabbed that off the table. So it could have been a multitude of different notes written down that you could have
We can
picked up.
save. Yeah, we can save it for last. If we need to, in case there isn't a better question that comes up.
Yeah. We could ask.
Go ahead.
Oh, we could ask if she knew where the princess was at, which would
Oh,
probably
true.
Shago saying that that's why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
What, to see how close they are to finding her?
Well, because Shago said that the reason that he shot her was because she said that she would kill Princess Razan if she saw her.
Was
So
it Razan or just the princess?
I don't know if people know about the second princess. So I guess you could just say.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the princess of Chult. Are they talking about Razan, or was Shago talking about the Koskol? Because he already know she's dead.
Yeah. Well, he knows now. He didn't know before.
So I guess not everybody knew that she was dead.
Well, I mean, no one. There isn't like a way of knowing someone's dead in the jungle until they don't come home. Even then, you don't know.
I guess. So what is it? How what did you know about, like, what was the question again?
Here, why don't we write them down? Because that
I
might be a
am.
good idea. Oh,
I
okay.
am.
Could
That's
you?
why I'm asking what the third one is.
Okay.
The first two I have is, why were you shot? What were you holding when you died?
Uh, how? Uh, did anyone come in to the room? Since we are worried about a second person coming in. See if.
Did anyone besides the murderer come into the room?
Mhm.
Is that the question?
I wouldn't say aside from the murderer, but
The
did anyone
person who
else come
shot you.
in? Yeah, because she could have survived her wounds. Like by the looks of it, like the body, she died of exposure as opposed to the crossbow bolts.
Yeah, and if um whoever shot her left in a hurry and she crawled into the chair and scrawled the note and the note is missing, someone took the note.
Yeah.
So the question is, did someone else come in after you were shot?
Yes.
Okay. And then number 4.
Uh, well, if the answer to did someone else come in, if that answer is yes, we need to ask who that is, who that person
Yes.
is that came in, if they know who it is.
Hmm.
Okay, so
I
number
think
4
we
is, if
yeah.
3 is yes, do you know who it was?
Hmm. And if uh, we should probably leave the last one blank just in case.
Mhm.
Well, right now
Uh,
we technically have 2 blanks, because if 3 is a no, then we don't have a question.
Yeah, then I think we should
Mhm.
ask about an NHLT
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like,
because
who should we bring the note to? Because we don't really know if it's going to be Teon.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Teon.
and if she says that no, she didn't see anyone, that means she died when the person came and took the note. We've got to
Mm.
start discerning information about what the context of the note is, so we can try to track down either who took it or who would have a vested interest in taking it.
Yes. And depending on what she says, it might be good to ask, like, what is the note about?
Yeah,
Like, what did you know? Like, yeah, what did you know?
yeah. I mean, this is the way that Speak with Dead always goes. There starts the decision tree at a certain point. So I think we need to cast and ask the first 3 questions and then go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so I have them written down. I'll cut them and move them somewhere else.
Yeah, you could probably just, like, if you have them written down in, like, the text chat, you could just
Yeah.
toss them up in the text chat.
Okay. And then Jet will sit in front of the body. He'll start focusing on his holy symbol and start seeing the ley lines and try to find like the one that's slowly fading like up towards Mistra, and try to gently grab it and bring it back to connect it.
Okay. So, Jet, you gather the weave around you. Here in Mesro, the lines are especially strong. Mistress' presence and the presence of something else just sort of strung in with everything that you're touching. And as you connect Kestra's line back in the weave of magic, folding her in and making her part of the blanket that covers the world again, her mouth will drop open, and her eyes, uh, full of moonlight black ringed cataracts,
Ugh.
will glaze over and look at the group, specifically looking at you, Jet. And every sound that there is or ever was hisses out of her mouth. A chorus, an orchestra of an echo of just 100, if not 1,000, different bodies or souls speaking all at once. Many of them in languages that you know, Elvish, Draconic, Primordial. You hear names, you hear pleas, and you just hear simple grieving anguish. And a voice above them all, hoarse, cackled, dried, will say very plainly, Ik aanbid Leon. And you'll hear it singled out, and it'll fade back again into the chorus. No time for questions to be asked, as it just gives, and the echoing just sort of cackles out with a sharp, undignified hiss. Her mouth will stay open. You can see